Example 8, what are we doing here? Find the exact value of the given trigonometric function. Use Pythagorean theorem to find the third side. So we have side A. This is also side A, and this is side C. Looks like A is equal to 8. You could use the Pythagorean theorem. I'm not going to do that because hopefully by now you can do the Pythagorean theorem. The reason why I'm not going to do that is because I recognize that, hey, these sides of our triangle are equivalent. This is a 90-degree angle. So this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And in a 45, 45, 90 triangle, your sides opposite of the 45-degree angle are exactly the same. And the side opposite of the 90-degree angle, you would simply keep the 45-degree side length and multiply it by √2. So if we know that side A is 8 units of measure, in this case, each of these x's in the formula is equivalent to 8, we can now use substitution, meaning side C is 8√2 units of measure. If you wanted to plug that into your calculator, you get 11.314. I'm just going to keep it as this. If you use the Pythagorean theorem, you should get the exact same thing. Now, find tangent of theta. Notice angle theta is here. Tangent, that is TOA, or opposite over adjacent. If each of these side measures is 8, we would be solving for tangent of theta, or tangent of x, is equal to 8/8. Since our angle is currently unknown, tangent of -1 whenever we use inverse tangent, your x and your fraction just switch sides. And now you can plug this into your calculator. Now we already know what it's going to be. I've already told you, but I'm just showing you how to do it in case it wasn't a 45, 45, 90 triangle. (45 degrees). So theta, tangent of theta, 45 degrees. And if we know that theta is 45 degrees, we can now go to our unit circle, find the 45-degree angle. And what is the tangency at that point? 1. So tangent of 45 degrees is equal to 1. Example 9, given that sine of theta is equal to 6/7, find secant of theta. Hence, sketch a right triangle corresponding to the trigonometric function of the acute angle theta, then use Pythagorean theorem to determine the third side. Here's angle theta. Sine, remember sine, we use so. So if they have given a 6/7, the 6 would be opposite. The 7 would be hypotenuse. So here's angle theta. Across the street from that is the opposite side. Here's our right angle symbol, our 90-degree symbol. Opposite of that is the hypotenuse. So we need to solve for this side here. We need to solve for the adjacent side. So let's use the Pythagorean theorem here to figure out what that would be. Now you have some options here. You could use this decimal here, round it, or you could just use the square root of 13. I'm just going to use square root of 13. That's just easier for me to write. So we now know that this side is the square root of 13. Hypotenuse was 7. Opposite side was 6. Adjacent side, square root of 13. So sine of theta is equal to 6 over 7. Find secant of theta. In order to find secant of theta, we have to remember, well, what is the reciprocal of secant? That is cosine. Cosine, that's c or adjacent over hypotenuse. So cosine of theta would be our adjacent side is root 13 over our hypotenuse 7. The reciprocal of cosine, that is secant. And the reciprocal of root 13 over 7 is 7 over root 13. But now we need to rationalize the denominator. So multiply the top and bottom of this fraction by the square root of 13. 7 times root 13, let's just keep it as this. Over any root multiplied by itself just leaves you with the number inside the root. So now we've answered the question. Secant of theta is 7 root 13 over 13. 10 and 11 are crossed out. That's because you don't need to worry about those. You will not be tested over that information. Let's look at example 12. State the quadrant in which theta lies. I like to draw a coordinate plane when I'm doing these. All students take calculus. Remember, this acronym helps us identify what is positive in these particular coordinates. So in coordinate 1, all things are positive. Quadrant 2, only sine is positive. Quadrant 3, only tangent is positive. And quadrant 4, only cosine is positive. So state the quadrant in which theta lies. Sine is less than 0. So what that means is sine is negative. So we can cross out these quadrants here. Cosine is greater than 0. That means cosine is positive. So we can cross that out. Must be quadrant 4. That's your answer.